Hey, what is going on, guys? This video today is going to be an interesting look at cheating inside of Solo Showdown and how it's ruining various aspects of competitive Fortnite. So for those of you guys that missed it, over the past weekend, Epic ran their third ever Solo Showdown competition inside of Fortnite. Solo Showdown, for those of you guys that may not know, is basically a competitive game mode which over a 25 game period tallies your total score based on a combination of placement and kills. Now, Solo Showdown is definitely high stakes for two main reasons. First off, each player that finishes in the top 100 for their respective region wins anywhere between 7,500 and 50,000 V-Bucks, which has a real dollar value of approximately 60 to 370 US dollars. Second, and probably more importantly, Epic has constantly been picking top finishers in Solo Showdown for their summer skirmish tournaments, which have a prize pool of sometimes as high as $1 million. So you can see why there is unfortunately such a major incentive to cheat in these competitions. Now, up until now, it's been very difficult to find concrete proof of a top finisher in Solo Showdown actually cheating. This made me think that maybe, Epic had implemented some sort of an audit system to prevent cheaters from making it to the actual final Solo Showdown leaderboards. But there is now indisputable evidence that this is not the case and that cheating in Solo Showdown may be worse than I ever anticipated. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so before we go any further in this discussion on cheating and any further in this video, I want you to go down into the description and click on the first link that you see. It'll be a link to a timestamp on a YouTube video that is basically going to show you exactly what I'm going to be referencing for the rest of this video. So pause, take a time out, watch 30 seconds, maybe a minute. That's all you need to get the gist of exactly what's going on. But for those of you guys that stubbornly haven't clicked on the link, basically what it contains is footage of a Twitch streamer blatantly cheating inside of Solo Showdown. And when I say blatantly cheating, this isn't something that's up for debate. This isn't, oh, maybe he's teaming with this guy, maybe, these 2 or 3 guys gave him free kills. This is basically a 2-minute long clip inside of Tilted Towers of a guy killing approximately 15 people with their pickaxes out. And the funniest thing is, if that wasn't obvious enough, a lot of these guys drop him shields before he kills them, a lot of these guys dance before he kills them, a lot of these guys just straight up stare at him for 5 to 10 seconds before he kills them, and he even has the nerve to laugh hysterically throughout a large majority of this clip. Now the guy speaks Portuguese, I'm guessing because he's from Brazil, but even though he doesn't speak English and I couldn't understand exactly what he was saying, you could basically tell that he found this blatant cheating pretty hilarious. So you may be wondering, alright, why is this a big deal? Yeah, one guy cheated in Solo Showdown, but did he even finish top 100? Who cares if he didn't get any of the V-Bucks? Unfortunately, this guy did in fact finish top 100, and it goes even further than that. The guy in the video who leaves Tilted Towers with approximately 15 kills on pickaxe-wielding players actually finished number 3 overall for the entire Brazilian region. This means that unless this guy's blatant cheating gets seen by someone with authority at Epic, he is going to walk away with 25,000 V-Bucks, which is the equivalent to about 200 US dollars. And the worst part is, this guy walking away with $200 free worth of V-Bucks is probably the least important takeaway from all of this. First off, by him directly cheating his way into 3rd place, he's robbing other deserving people of their rightful placement in V-Bucks. He pushed the rightful number 4 finisher to number 5, the rightful number 50 finisher to number 51, and finally the rightful number 100 finisher to number 101. Those may sound like random numbers, but those are all the placements which change how many V-Bucks you receive at the end of the competition. But even that is not the most important takeaway from this whole ordeal. Just think for a second. If this guy can be fed 15 blatantly obvious free kills inside of Tilted while live streaming the entire thing, yes he did, he live streamed this entire thing, and he doesn't get removed from the leaderboards for all of this, it probably means that Epic doesn't review the top finishers from Solo Showdown at all. This basically opens up Pandora's box for cheating inside of Solo Showdown. If you can get away with the ridiculous stuff that this guy did on live streaming while laughing the entire time, I'm sure you can get away with pretty much any type of cheating inside of Solo Showdown. And this leads to the question, if there's been no audit process this entire time, how many of these top 100 finishers in all of these different regions have cheated in some form? You know, maybe some are as unbelievably obvious as this guy in that YouTube video. You know, maybe there are people doing even worse things. And maybe there are tons of people that aren't cheating unbelievably bad, but are doing little things that you see all the time on Twitter clips. You know, teaming inside of Solo Showdown, landing with one or two of their other friends and clearing a town together, basically having bodyguards the entire game that feed materials and weapons and shields and all of that good stuff, and just basically making it so much easier for a guy to win and place top 100 in Solo Showdown. I've actually been very suspicious of cheating in Solo Showdown from the very beginning. For those of you guys that don't know, I actually played and placed very well in the first ever Solo Showdown, which unfortunately enough for me was the only showdown ever where they did not do individual top 100s for each region. It was every single region, every single platform combined into one. And I actually finished number 104 overall, where only the top 100 got V-Bucks, which, like I said, is really unfortunate because nowadays 104 overall would probably be like top 20 or 30 in my region, and I would have got, you know, a sizable chunk of free V-Bucks. But like I said, I've been suspicious of cheating from the very beginning. I remember when I got my 104 finish, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of salty, only finished, you know, 4 places out of the top 100 receiving V-Bucks. So what I decided to do was go in and actually look at some of the accounts that finished in front of me. Partially because I wanted to discover some cheaters, partially because, you know, I just wanted to see some of the guys that were good enough to place towards the very beginning of the top 100. What I ended up finding made me very suspicious even back then. And it was basically a plethora of players finishing in the top 100 at every different placement from a bunch of different regions, a bunch of different consoles, who plain and simple didn't seem like, from their stats, players good enough to finish as high as they did. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there believe that stats are not a great indicator of how good someone is at Fortnite, and to some extent, even I'll agree with that point. But those of you guys that think that also have to be at least a little bit suspicious of so many of these guys I found that had, like, you know, a 2.5 KD in solos, even in the most recent season, which is actually the most recent data and statistics that would correlate with how good you would be as a solo player, you know, something like 5-10 win percentage, and then Solo Showdown rolls around and these guys magically transform into 80 win percentage players with a 25 KD, getting 8 kills per match. It's almost like exactly what would happen statistically if you were to suddenly start cheating inside of Solo Showdown. You know, queue up with a bunch of friends who are gonna run at you with pickaxes and feed you free kills. Queue up with a bunch of friends who are going to clear out buildings with you in your initial town and then give you all the shields and the materials and the weapons they find, or just in general be your bodyguards for the rest of the game. You know, at the time I thought, alright, calm down, you know, you're just a little salty that you finished a few positions out of the top 100, but after seeing this unbelievably blatant cheating from this one Brazilian guy, who Epic had the nerve to allow to be number 3 on the leaderboards for the entire region, you know, it's not like he slipped through the cracks and he was like number 90 or 100. Nope, number 3, 25,000 V-Bucks. I'm really starting to revisit my thought process at the time, which was basically, yeah, you know, this seems suspicious, but I'm sure Epic has an audit system in place to prevent any illegitimate players from finishing in the top 100. You know, they wouldn't want any guys to get free V-Bucks who don't deserve it, but after seeing this Brazilian guy, really starting to question that. And at the end of the day, the biggest issue here is the fact that this is not just going to compromise Solo Showdown alone. this is going to compromise competitive Fortnite as a whole. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of these guys that you see at these competitive events, live events, where hundreds and thousands of dollars are on the line, are coming directly from Solo Showdown. I actually really love that Epic's doing that. It's giving a chance for any player to qualify for these top level high money events, where normally if you didn't have a big YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter following, you would have no chance other than Solo Showdown. But if they keep allowing cheaters like this to thrive and finish really high and possibly get invites to these events, it's going to ruin competitive Fortnite as a whole. I mean, just imagine if this Brazilian guy gets in a $500,000, $1 million tournament where, let's say, only placement matters, and this guy just hides in a dark corner inside of some random house at the edge of the circle and just fights off a bunch of, like, you know, top 20, top 30 placements, getting very minimal kills because he's probably not that good of a player at the end of the day if he had to cheat, and he somehow ends up walking away at the end of the event with a consolation prize of, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. That would be straight up robbery of Epic, and also straight up robbery of the person who rightfully deserved his spot that he stole by cheating so blatantly in the Solo Showdown event. And who knows, like I said, we opened Pandora's box with this video. Maybe there are guys that have been at some of these summer skirmish events winning thousands of dollars that did the same thing this guy did, that just weren't stupid enough to live stream the entire cheating. I mean, who knows, this could go way deeper and further than any of us could ever possibly know. Now, in terms of a solution, because I don't like to bring forward a problem with at least some kind of solution, I'll admit it is somewhat of an interesting problem. Taking away Solo Showdown is definitely not the answer, but Epic also can't just sit down and do nothing, and it would be unrealistic to expect Epic to do an audit of all like 700 players that finish top 100 for each region. My simple solution that could kind of be a band-aid until they figure something better out would be to randomize queue times in Solo Showdown. Instead of when you press start putting you into the first available match, they should make it a random timer that you can't see of anywhere between like 0 seconds and maybe 2 or 3 minutes. That way, if you queue up with like 10 to 15 other people trying to feed you free kills, instead of most of you guys getting into the same lobby, some people will get, you know, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute 20, 2 minutes, 2 minutes 20. You may get 8 seconds. And just in general, it would be nearly impossible to get more than like maybe 1 or 2 other people into the same game. It wouldn't totally kill cheating, but it would make it so much harder. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave me a comment down in the comment section below if you watched the entire video. What are your thoughts on cheaters in Solo Showdown and just competitive Fortnite in general? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's not that big of a deal? Let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.